Let me start. Do you know that according to the recent report of Gallup, 87% of workers, employees worldwide, are not engaged in their work? Not engaged in their work. They're disconnected from their workplaces, they're less likely to be productive. Do you understand? Well, it's quite a frightening statistics, 87%. It means that these people are checked out at the work. They're just coming, they put their time, but they're not putting their energy, and they're spending their time and they're not productive. Do you think why it's happening? Well, I think that it's because of they don't know where their passion lies. And I was exactly the same 9 years ago when I was studying at the Department of International Relations, but I figured out that I'm not interested in the field anymore. But now, I'm at my dream job. I work at the Alumni Outreach Coordinator at the US Embassy in Baku, and also acting education specialist. And it's a dream job, and I'm very passionate about it. And I don't want to talk about only how to find your passion. I actually I would like to talk about how to find and build your passion. And let me just share few tips with you. So tip number 1, find what you're passionate about. And what is passion? Passion is intersection of what you love doing and what you're good at doing. So it's more than excitement or enthusiasm. It's an action that, materialize, and you put your soul and you put your heart in it. So you live with it. So what can make you passionate? And there are two ways. First, active social life. Active social life is the key to finding opportunities. Since teenage years, I've been part of different events. I've been painting, I've been part of debate clubs. I've attended anything I could when I was studying, just to find out what is my passion. And here's the pictures. I've been dancing as well, presenting Azerbaijan, and there are pictures at the International Summer School. I made it to the cover page of the brochure in 2008. I love sports. All this, trying new activities, finding all these right opportunities, made me find out that I'm really passionate about communication, meeting new friends, meeting new people, finding relationships. Second one is work for free. And let me tell you the story of the internship, my first internship, which I landed in 10 minutes. It was again 9 years ago. I went into Baku Education Information Center. I approached the receptionist, and I'm telling her, "Do you need an intern? Do you have a?" And she looks really surprised and kind of weird. I really felt weird. Then she saw it, and she was like, "Let me talk to the supervisor." I went to him. We had a really short interview, and he says, "Come tomorrow." I was so excited. It was my first internship with no experience, and I got it in 10 minutes. So when I went to BIC, I was one of the 1,000 students. But what made me different, I didn't ask for the paid job. I just offered my help, and that's why I got it. A lot of students, a lot of youth, looking for paid jobs early in their career without having any experience, but having high expectations. And having that, and it's kind of paradox of motivation. Sometimes you don't have a financial benefit, you gain much more from the experience. So I realized it was over the months that I've started BIC, I was invited to work at American Councils as volunteer receptionist, and I realized that if I'm good at phone calls and answering calls and making copies, I'll be delegated with tasks and eventually get a paid job. And that's what happened. In a year, I've been promoted several times, and before I was at the third year at the university, before graduation, I got a full-time job as administrator of one of the biggest high school exchange programs, and you probably heard of it, Flex. And I became a Flex coordinator. So this free internship, like work for free internship didn't only land in the full-time job. I found my real passion, and it wasn't international relations, it was education. Tip number 2, take your passion seriously. I was just 14 years old, and it was 14 years old, and back then I realized that one of my biggest passions is to study abroad and live independently. So guess what? I was applying for all these exchange programs. I applied 6 times, and believe me or not, I failed all of them. And when I failed the programs, I felt really sad. I cried for like 4 hours. But every failure taught me one important lesson, and to stay determined. So eventually, one day, hard work paid off, and I got selected for one of the exchange programs, also one of, very important back then. And out of 300 applications, I was in the pool of 15 people who got the scholarship to study in the US and to pursue master's degree in international education. So kind of one of the dreams coming true. There was one issue. I was married by then. So you can imagine, right? Here is Azerbaijan, you're married and you got scholarship. I was very lucky to have a husband. Oh, so another story. My husband couldn't leave his job and come with me. So we had to live separately for 2 years. And guess what? I was very lucky to have a very supportive husband and family who encouraged me to follow my dream. And I've studied in the US for 2 years. I left 10 months after the wedding, and we left separately more than we lived together by the time I finished from the program. I was lucky, and I see more people, and I encourage more people to support their wives in that. And despite of the facts, all the, neighbors gossiping how bad wife I can be, I am, so. In the US, I figured out, I've just found this, people actually don't take their passion. I just noticed a lot of people don't take their passion very seriously. And I've been studying, when I was studying, I really enjoyed it. I was at the top of the class. My thesis was recommended for the publishing. It was also included in the optional reading for upcoming students. So I had one of the highest GPAs in school, but not because I was smarter than others. It was mostly because I was really enjoying what I was doing. And there's basically some pictures, and that's what I really was enjoying doing, like skydiving. It was just one of the passions. So basically, but the story could be different, right? It could be like I've graduated from international relations. I went into and applied for a job at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I got this mediocre job just because I spent 4 years studying for international relations. But no, the minute I realized what is my passion, I decided to follow the passion. I decided to do get the work experience, to get academic background in the US that support me, and this experience in the US was a life-changing opportunity and experience, and I came back all equipped to change others' lives by providing more opportunities, educational opportunities. So again, when I say not only find, but build your career, it's not only about, when I say build your career, it means don't sit at home and dream about it. Take actions, small or big, doesn't matter. Every action matters. Tip number 3, develop and sustain an entrepreneurial approach to work. When I was offered a position at the US Embassy, I was 8 months pregnant. And you can imagine, right? You're new job, and motherhood. It didn't stop me. It still didn't stop me from taking new challenge and taking this job. And I was excited about being mother and about the new job. the same way, I think. So at the end of the day, I've accepted the offer. I started as I call myself, not a workaholic, but a career-loving parent or career-loving mother. I started working when my daughter was 3 months old, and I still, even with all the sleepless night, I was very committed and passionate about my work. And why? Why I was passionate about it? This job had all my passions in one. It had my passion for communication, meeting people, learning from them. It has my passion of event planning and project management and passion to give educational opportunities to others. I call it entrepreneurial approach to work. And what does it mean? I wake up every morning with a desire to go to work. Every time I wait, and and this entrepreneurial approach is basically, I'm always looking for problems and the solutions. I'm not just sitting, let me do this routine work. And one of the first problems, let me give you an example, was that we had a lot of ideas, but not a lot of manpower, and not a lot of people who could handle a lot of ideas. So because I had this opportunity to intern myself, I decided to develop an internship program with the US Embassy. I knew that there's thousands of students who would like to do an internship at the US Embassy. And guess what? It's the third year of the program, and I have met one of the interns here, hopefully who's here to support me. But I'm telling you one thing: a lot of programs wouldn't run so smoothly without these interns. So, very proud of the small thing, but again, the problem was solved. And this entrepreneurial approach, this is what makes me passionate about the work, about my job all the time. And I want to leave you with one last story. When back before I went to the US and approached one of my professors, and I said, I shared my concern, what should I do? I'm studying international relations and I'm really not interested in that. And he said this quote of Harold Whitman: don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go for it. Because the world does need people who come alive. Thank you.